Hey everyone, welcome back to our SwiftUI series. In today's video, we're going to be exploring lists and dynamic content within SwiftUI. We'll also build a to-do list that lets you add, modify, and delete items. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to create this in a new project, but if you want to add it to your existing project, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead and call this list example SwiftUI. Interface SwiftUI language Swift looks great. All right, in our content view, let's go ahead and create some bindings, one for a maybe array of our to-do items, and then another one for a new task. So we'll go ahead and say at state private var. Let's go ahead and call it to-do items. Go ahead and make this a string here. We'll have this equal an array, and let's fill it with some items. Maybe some things we could do are, buy groceries, play with the cat, very important stuff, go to the gym, and maybe we'll also add like complete homework or something. Great. All right, and let's create another state variable here. So at state private var, we'll call this one new task. And we'll say that this will be a string. We'll just make it an empty string for now. So I'm just going to put the quotation marks with nothing in it, not even a space. So in our VStack here, we already kind of have our placeholder. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this extra content here. Let's add a note that content will go here. Let's also go ahead and add a navigation view. And we'll also add a bracket here just to close that off as well. So we should be good to go. So we've initialized our to-do items with some default tasks. We also have the new task to capture input for adding new items to our list. So now in our VStack, let's go ahead and add some different elements. So we're actually going to start off by adding an H stack here, and we can go ahead and add a text field. So let's say text field. And then we'll add a placeholder here, which will say new task. We're going to add a comma, and then we're going to kind of say, what we're adding here is going to be that new task. So we're going to say text, space. We're going to do a $sign to reference our binding, then say new task. Here we can add a little bit of, some style. So maybe we'll do text field style. There's a few of them that you can play around with. If you just double click on this, you'll kind of get, the vast majority of what you can kind of do with these. I'm going to go ahead and say rounded border text style with these empty brackets here. It's going to kind of add that round border around our text. It's kind of like this white on gray right now, which is a little bit hard to see, but let's also add some padding, and we'll add some, we'll make that horizontal, sorry. All right, let's also add a button. And this is the reason we wanted to put it in that H stack, because we're going to have the text field, and we're going to have a button right next to it, to the right of it. We're going to add an action here, and we're going to go ahead and say that this is going to be add task. Go ahead and add a brace here. Let's add an image here. What we can do is we can actually grab it from our library here. So I'm going to do the plus circle. I'm just going to actually just drag and drop it onto this line of code here, and that's going to add an image for our button, and we'll go ahead and add some foreground color to change the style here. So foreground style color .blue, or any color that you really like. And we can also add some font here and set it to maybe be title. All right, so we might be getting an error here that we don't have add task in scope. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of our view here. And so right under where we have this padding, we're going to actually create a private func here. And we'll say add task. Don't need anything within those parameters. Go ahead and add a brace and start adding, what's going to be happening within here. So let's actually create a guard statement. So this is going to basically allow us to, see if the field is empty, that it won't actually add a new task, right? If we were just press the button with an empty kind of text field, it would just add a whole bunch of empty garbage to our array. So we're going to actually add an exclamation point here and say new task dot is empty, else we're going to add some braces here, and we're just going to actually put return. So this is going to kind of be our like preventative from people just adding, nothing to that array. Let's go ahead and now update our to-do items, and we're going to do dot append, which is essentially going to add different things into our array with that append there. And we'll say new task. So it's going to add that new task to our list, and we'll say new task equals, and then we're actually going to put an empty string here. So now when we press the button, it's going to make sure it's not empty. It's going to then add the to-do items based on that task, and then it's going to basically clear the text field here. It's going to be like, okay, we've added this. Now I'm going to reset this text field to be blank. Now let's display our tasks in a list so users can view each item in the to-do list. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a list here. So let's go ahead and exit our H stack here, and we're going to type list, add a brace, and we're going to say for each. We're going to add a bracket here, and we're going to say to do items, and a comma, and then we're going to say ID : / dot self. And then we're going to go out here, and we're going to add a brace, and we're going to say items in. Let's go ahead and make some space here. And this is where we're going to have the text, reference our item, dot padding, and let's add some dot vertical padding here as well. Maybe we'll set this to be 8. We can always change it later. Oh, I made a mistake. I put items in. It should just be item in. My apologies. All right, now we can see that we have our task list here. And, we can add different tasks on our preview here. So if I go ahead and say, walk the dog, we can press this plus button. And we now have this new task that has appeared in our list. Lists by default are also scrollable as well. So we have a huge array or something here. We're able to kind of scroll through all of these items. Next, let's make our list even more interactive by adding swipe to delete functionality. And the way that we can do that is adding the dot on delete. So after our list here, we can say dot on delete form, and we're going to say delete task. We of course need to create this function as well. So let's go down underneath our add task here and say private func delete task, or whatever you had called it. And we'll say at offsets index set. All right, let's add our brace here, and we can say to do items dot remove at offsets. Essentially, this is going to allow our users to swipe left on every. Essentially, what this is going to do is allow users to swipe left on any task in the list to delete it. This is a really simple functionality that adds a lot of interactivity to the list. We can kind of see, as we drag this over to the left, we can delete it, and bye-bye it goes. So let's go ahead and test this in the simulator now. Now that our simulator has loaded, we can actually, select this item here, maybe play with the cat. We can swipe it all the way to delete it. You can also kind of drag it over and then press the delete button. Both will work. What are some other tasks that we might want to do? Practice coding, and we can see that it immediately gets added to the end of the array here, or that list. We can also do like, I don't know, wash dishes, right? And it immediately gets added. We can delete them as we want and as we see fit. Sometimes in the simulator, they're like really hard to kind of swipe away, so you have to be very deliberate with it. And we can actually get rid of every single element on our list and add a new one. So pretty cool stuff there. And that's it. Today we built a dynamic list in SwiftUI, complete with feature to add and delete items. And we can even see if our task is empty, it won't add. Good stuff from the guard statement there. We covered using List, ForEach, and onDelete to manage and display data interactively. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe for more SwiftUI content. And until next time, dream big and code bigger. Take care.